Hello and welcome to the channel. For those of you who don't know me or it's your first time here, my name is Elke Feuer. I'm an author and a fiction book coach. So this week's video is part 3 in a series that I'm doing called Finding Time to Write. So in the last 2 videos, I had you actually track your time for 1 week. Actually, I recommended 2 methods that I use and recommend to my clients, and obviously that I use myself. And the second video was all about analyzing your time and getting in there and reviewing your schedule and all where your time went, those kind of things. So if you haven't watched those yet, I want to encourage you to go ahead and check them out. I will leave the links to those in the video. So this week's video is all about finding your ideal time. So as I mentioned, you've already tracked your time, looked at your schedule, and now you're going to figure out what is your ideal time to write. The exercise that I had you do in the last video was to look at the days and time you wasted, okay, from your calendar and choosing which ones fit you best. So basically what that means is looking at the days and the times that you identified that were wasted times and seeing which times best fit your schedule or fit you. So in order to do that, I recommend, because you may be thinking, okay, well, yeah, can I just pick one? Which you can, but I'm gonna have you ask yourself some questions that will help make the decision better so that you're choosing the right one. The first thing that you're going to do when finding your ideal time to write is to ask yourself some questions. And those questions, why are these the best days for me to write? The second is, why are these the best times for me to write? From sacrificing the activities that you waste time on. Now, you may be thinking, well, those sound like sort of straightforward questions. Why would I ask that? Can't I just choose a time? But what these questions do is basically get you to think a little bit deeper about why you're choosing those days and times. You want to make sure that you're choosing the days and times that best fit your schedule and that you're not just choosing them randomly. Because although you're choosing, let me take a step back, because what sometimes ends up happening is that when I work with my clients and they just pick all those times that they're wasting, they tend to burn out, and then they haven't taken everything into consideration. They haven't sort of asked themselves the question, like, well, I'm wasting time, let me just write during those times, problem solved. When the truth is, when you ask yourself these questions, it really helps you to think a little bit more about why these times and what you're going to be gaining when you sacrifice those times wasted, which is a good thing. But what you want to also do is to make sure that you're keeping some of that wasted time so that you don't burn yourself out by just saying, I'm going to write during all of my time that I've wasted. So that's why those questions, to kind of get you thinking a little bit more beyond, I waste these times, let me just pick and choose those. They also remind you as far as what you're going to gain moving forward. And to be honest, that is a great motivator when you are trying to remember, why is it that I choose these times? And then if things change in your schedule and you're not wasting those times anymore, it's a great way to quickly identify that, hey, these times aren't working and I need to make adjustments. So that's why it's really important to really ask yourself these questions when you're trying to find your ideal time. Finding time and writing consistently are just skills that every writer needs, especially if you want to build strong writing habits, and why it's one of the things that I focus on in my Scribers Academy. And what that is, it's a monthly membership and it's a new membership that I've just launched, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about it at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around to find out more. The next thing that you want to do with finding your ideal time is to check personal obligations. And what that means is a few things. First, you want to look at your work schedule. Now, you may be thinking, well, I tracked my time in the last one. I know what my work times are. But the truth is, it's important to really think about what your work obligations are, because Not everybody's schedule is the same, and sometimes it changes, and you want to make sure that you're taking that into consideration when you're choosing your times. That you're picking the same days and times as much as possible is that when you're first starting out, you're trying to build a habit, and the more consistent you can be with the days and times that you're writing, the better chance of building a writing habit, especially, like I said, if you're just at the beginning or you're just starting it as a new habit. The next personal obligation that you want to look at is if you have obligations for church or volunteering, any of those things that perhaps didn't come up when you were diving into your schedule and tracking your time, right? Because a lot of times those things don't always show up within a week or 2 weeks or however long that you're tracking your time, you decided to track your time for, if you watched the first video and that you did that exercise. So that's why it's important to ask those, because a lot of times I find with clients and myself is that we'll say, okay, we're going to write these days and times, and then suddenly it's like, oh crap, I forgot about that I have to do volunteering at the church, once every 2 weeks at this day and time. Or perhaps it's, something to do with that you volunteer with, that perhaps an organization. So it's important to sort of think about these things as well too when you're looking at the days and times that you want to choose as your writing times. The next personal obligation that you want to think about is, does it fit my home and family commitments? Because let's face it, especially if you have kids or if you have elderly parents that you take care of, those are all things that you want to take into consideration when you're looking at deciding and your ideal times to write. Because what you don't want to do is set yourself up to fail. And when you dive in and look at all of these different elements within your schedule and ask yourself these questions, it really makes you think a little bit harder, as I mentioned, than beyond just saying, oh, this is time I waste, I'm just going to pick this time. Because, when you're intentional about choosing your days and your times, and you ask yourself the pertinent questions, it really helps you to set yourself up, not just for success, but for also making sure that you're picking the right days and times that you can be consistent on. Because when you choose days and times that work and fit with your life, the higher chances of you being able to stick with it and not failing and feeling like crap, I just can't find time to. You are actually, just like I said, you're setting yourself up for success, and that's really what you want to do, especially when you're trying to build a new habit. So there you have it. What about you? Do you have a way that you choose how you find time to write, whether you're just restarting your writing, or whether it's just when you say, okay, I'm going to write a book, here's how I'm going to decide how I'm going to find my time to write? I would love to hear about them in the comments. One thing I forgot to mention is, once you've figured out all your personal obligations and all those things, you want to go back and look at the days and times that you picked again and just say, are these still the right times for me? Please insert this clip before the last statement about what I just said. Sorry about that. I missed it, but I want to make sure to include it. Now, writing and writing consistently is just one of those great skills that, as writers, that is so important to develop, and it's one of the areas in my Scribers Academy that I focus on. And the truth is, there are 4 main areas that I focus on. But before I dive into those, let me take a step back and tell you all about this new membership that I am launching. I'm so excited. This has actually been in the works for about 2 years now, probably longer. It's been sort of percolating, and I've held off because I wanted it to be perfect, and I wanted it to be, have all this stuff thrown into it, and I just realized that it's just one of those things where, just like with putting your book out there, you just have to just take that first step. And for me, it's like, I know that all this great information is going to help a lot of writers, and I need to just get over it trying to be perfect and just put it out there. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm just so excited to tell you all about it. So In the Scribers Academy, this, like I said, it's a brand new membership, and I'm going to be focusing on 4 main areas that I feel that will help you to build your dream writing life. The first one is getting clarity about what you want for your writing life. Now, I know that seems straightforward, but it's always surprises me how many times that writers haven't necessarily asked themselves this question. So, and it makes a huge difference and really sets a strong foundation for your writing life, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it for a while. The second thing is habits to help you create the life that you want and step into being an authorpreneur. Now, if you've never, I'm sure you've heard that term before, authorpreneur, because the truth is there's more to being a writer than just writing, and that's what these habits will help. These habits will help you to step into being an authorpreneur. The third and my personal favorite is a badass writer mindset. Everybody needs a strong mindset whenever you're running your own business or anytime that you want to achieve something big in your life. And this part of the program will help you to develop your badass mindset. We all have it in us, and I help to bring it out in you. The fourth thing is systems. Systems that are going to help you to succeed as well as sustain what you build, right? Because sometimes it's easy to get there, but it's not easy to keep it, or it's hard to get there and you want to make sure that you keep it. So either way, those are the 4 things that I focus on within the membership. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, I'd love for you to check it out. The official launch is next week, and I will be sharing a little bit more about it, as well as sharing the 4th and final video in the series to helping you find time to write. Next week's video is all about set it, don't forget it. So I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out anything about that, or to find out more about the Scribers membership. But I will leave the link to so that you can check it out for yourself and see if it's something that you're interested in. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.